Hey 49er fans, today's video is brought to you guys by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/49ers for 20% off your first order plus free shipping. The link is down below right now in our description box. So it's Monday. Happy Monday, by the way. Not anyone's told you that yet. Happy Monday. It's a 49er report, news and a rumor Monday, meaning we get into the latest 49ers news and rumors. Let's jump right into the Spotracs, or the Spotracs, free agent prediction. I need to say that. Spotracs? Spotrac, how do you say this website's name? It is a sports website if you don't know what it is, but it get a pretty interesting list of predicting 49ers free agent signings. So they go through all 32 teams and they say, these are the players each team will go ahead and sign in free agency. I want to share this with you because I think it's an interesting way to look at how the 49ers can wiggle and maneuver and work around the current $20 million essentially they have in cap space. Of course, that can change in cuts and signings, so $20 million roughly is what they have right now. And the other question that I have is, how active will the 49ers be in free agency? The following list you'll see here in just 1 second is, to me, a very active potential offseason for San Francisco. I want to see what you guys think about these potential signings by Spotrac. I'm going to get butchered for saying that name wrong, but for their website, in terms of where they're going to sign or who they potentially could sign. So I'll go and show you guys a list here right now on your screen. They have them re-signing Trent Williams, 4 years, $72 million. Fine, like that. They have Alex Mack, the center, the former Falcon, signing a 1 year, $5 million deal. Honestly, like that too. 1 year makes a lot of sense based on his age. Desmond King, the Titans cornerback, he's 3 years, $18 million. I like that addition. We talked about him in a video a couple of days ago. And then how about this one? Breshad Perriman, the Jet wide receiver, a 3 year, $26 million deal. I mean, these to me are very interesting overall predictions, and we'll go through them here in just 1 second. I like the idea of, honestly, each and every one of these. Before we keep going, of course, make sure you guys are subscribed, though, because NFL free agency is going to be coming upon us here in the middle of March, and we'll have full wall-to-wall coverage on the 49ers report. And if the 49ers go ahead and sign any one of these guys, I think there's a real possibility for 2, maybe 3 of them to become 49ers. We'll have you guys covered here on the 49ers report. Now, honestly, like I said, I love these moves. I don't see any of these moves as a negative move for the 49ers. Trent Williams is an absolute no-brainer. They have to go ahead and re-sign him just to assure the left side of the offensive line. It'll be expensive, but it makes a lot of sense. I think Alex Mack as a center, based on what the 49ers have done in the center position the past couple of seasons, which to me would be maybe a temporary fix, because it's probably just a 1 year deal like the website shows, but I think it also would make a lot of sense and at least be an upgrade for now at the center position. Desmond King is a corner. Now, to see coming in because they don't re-sign Verrett? That's the question here. They didn't really say on the website, like, do they re-sign Jason Verrett? Do they re-sign K'Wan Williams? They're not going to re-sign Richard Sherman. We already talked about that in a video this past last week, and so getting any cornerback makes sense. I'm a big fan of Desmond King. And Breshad Perriman, the 49ers have a very interesting wide receiver room right now, still a very young wide receiver room. This is assuming they do not sign Kendrick Bourne. Perriman a little bit older in terms of overall experience, would add some depth overall as your probable wide receiver number 3. Again, I am all for this. And you guys have been seeing the player bios being rotated around as I've argued back and forth. I don't see any of these moves as being negative ones. And we've talked about wide receivers, and even though there are, some decent names out there, a guy like Perriman who, didn't do anything crazy with the 49er or with the Jets last season, still to me would make a lot of sense for San Francisco. So that's why I want to start. I want to start with this list just to give you an example of what a 49er free agent offseason could potentially look like. And honestly, I feel really good about all of these, if I'm just being 100% honest. Give me the pinned comment reply down below right now, though. Name a free agent the 49ers should go ahead and sign. Maybe one of these or just another free agent you guys like. Name a free agent the 49ers should go ahead and sign. Let me know who that is down below right now in the comment section. Let's move on to the Peter King article. I talk a lot about Peter King. He has some pretty crazy, wild ideas, and he has a very crazy and wild trade package for Deshaun Watson. So we talked a lot about Deshaun Watson. We do it almost every single week here on the channel. And Peter King has given us a 7-for-1 potential trade between the 49ers and the Texans. Yes, the 49ers give up 7 potential players/picks for Deshaun Watson. Like a 7-for-1 trade. It's bizarre. It's crazy. I'll show it to you here in just 1 second, even though, of course, side note, ESPN is predicting the 49ers will keep Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Phil Yates said that a couple of days ago. Nick Wagner said the same thing, so take this with a grain of salt. This is a mock trade, not an official trade, but here's what Peter King thinks would be, I think, doable for Deshaun Watson. So they go Deshaun Watson, is who the 49ers would get, obviously. And get this, Texans give up Jimmy Garoppolo, Fred Warner, Mike McGlinchey, a 2021 first, a 2022 first, a 2021 second, and a 2022 third. That is 7 overall, assets is what you would call them, in exchange for Deshaun Watson. Wow. That is a lot. What do you guys think? Grade that trade for the 49ers, A, B, C, D, or F, in terms of what San Francisco would get in return. It's a lot. I would say it's a B- or a C+ grade. I want to see what you guys think, though, down below right now in the comments section. Again, this is probably what it potentially could take. I think it's a little bit on the heavy side in terms of giving up for Deshaun Watson, but my big fear is that the 49ers would ruin their future for Watson. Don't ruin your future just for Deshaun Watson. Doesn't say Deshaun Watson's not worth it, but you're going to give up Fred Warner, give up Mike McGlinchey, 2 first-round draft picks, a second and a third. It's a lot to go ahead and give up. I've stood behind this all the entire offseason that I'm for trading for Deshaun Watson. I'm for giving up multiple first-round draft picks. I'm not okay with giving up 2 of your best young players. One, of course, is Nick Bosa. I wouldn't do it. And the other is Fred Warner. You get rid of Fred Warner, and that defense, it's not going to be awful, but it would definitely take to me, a legit nosedive in terms of how good they have been over the past couple of years. Now, could Watson make up for that? Maybe, but I would really like to keep a young, great star linebacker because those guys do not grow on trees, and Warner is legitimately just that good. Again, I like Watson. I'm for Watson. I think Peter King is being realistic that this is potentially what it could go ahead and cost because we keep hearing the Texans are not going to budge on their price right now for Deshaun Watson, but it's a lot to go ahead and give up. Side note on Peter King, I met him at Falcons training camp last year. Nice guy. I mean, I feel like he's not just trying to stoke the fire and, create controversy. I think he genuinely believes this is what it would go ahead and cost. I think it's just a little bit too much, and so I would go ahead and be out on trading, at least this mock trade for Deshaun Watson. Of course, again, make sure you guys are subscribed. We'll keep you guys up to date on the latest trade rumors because if they trade for Deshaun Watson, you better bet your bottom dollar we're going to get covered here on the 49ers Report. So make sure you guys are subscribed. Hit the very subscribe button down below. Okay, so Matt Maiocco, of course, NBC Sports Bay Area, thinks Jimmy Garoppolo could be open for a trade and even welcome a trade overall. Right now, he currently has a no-trade clause in his contract. Kind of Deshaun Watson's the same thing, which honestly means nothing. If the 49ers say, hey, we're going to trade you to the Patriots, Jimmy Garoppolo just waives his no-trade clause, and then they, trade him overall. So, of course, he's due $50 million for the next 2 seasons, and, we kind of fully understand that if they cut him, he's not going to be able to get that sort of money in free agency. If they cut him and the Patriots sign him, the odds of him making $25 million each in the next 2 years are slim to none. And so, as Matt Maiocco says on his Twitter account, this honestly makes a lot of sense. Here's this, quote, yes, Jimmy Garoppolo has a no-trade clause. He's also due $22.5 million in salary and bonuses. I believe he'll be the 49ers starter this season, but if there were a trade possibility, he would almost certainly waive the clause. Otherwise, he would not get that kind of money, which, again, makes sense, right? If he were to be cut, which if you cut him, then you can save a lot of money in terms of the cap space, and you only have like a $2 million dead cap hit. He can then go sign with anybody, but who's going to give him $25.5 million? I don't think he's worth that right now. So I think trading him is still a very, very real possibility, even though a lot of teams, there's a lot of writers are saying it's not really going to happen. I think the trade value is there. Not saying the Niners would get a lot in return, probably a second, a third, maybe even a 4th-round draft pick at most, but I think it's still the most likely option if they were to go ahead and trade for Deshaun Watson and need to move off of Jimmy Garoppolo. What do you guys think Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value is? Like, is there anyone out there thinks he's going to get a first for Jimmy Garoppolo? In this contract, I say no way. Again, I think second at best. I think 4th and 3rd, maybe a 4th or a 3rd would make the most sense. Give me your idea of a Jimmy Garoppolo trade value, where you think he is worth and what you think he is worth down below right now in the comments section. Before we keep going, big shout out to our sponsor, Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/49ers for 20% off your order, plus free shipping. Get something like the perfect package, which of course, as I said, I use it every single week here, and I've been given one from Manscaped, and it's absolutely fantastic. Get the Lawnmower 3.0, the 8-hour battery. It feels like it's longer, though. I never have to charge the thing. It lasts forever. As well as, of course, the boxers, the travel bag, the deodorant, everything that it comes with. Absolutely fantastic, and it's on sale right now with our link, manscaped.com/49ers for 20% off your first order, and you get free shipping. Not a bad deal. Link is down below in the description box. Okay, final little news piece here has to do with Sam Darnold. As we now know officially, the Sam Darnold asking price, not saying this was anything sort of a secret, we kind of expected it to be what the report is, and that is a second-round draft pick, but it's interesting to know that you could potentially trade for Sam Darnold and then keep Garoppolo and then have a quarterback battle in the offseason. So, the report from SNY, we'll show you the quote here in a second, says the Jets still have Darnold available. They're trying to actively trade him, and it would take about a second-round draft pick, maybe a second and a later-round draft pick to go ahead and acquire him. And I asked the question, could you just trade for Sam Darnold, keep Jimmy Garoppolo, and just let them have an open quarterback competition this offseason? I'm not a fan of quarterback competitions. You guys know how I feel about that. I think you pick one and stick with it. But if you were to go ahead and trade for Darnold, maybe you keep Garoppolo in case Darnold doesn't pan out, because some people think he can, but he'd still be a great quarterback, and others think he's been completely ruined by the Jets. So SNY, of course, that's Sports New York, one of the big, broadcasters there in the city, says this, quote, the Jets are rather expected to use the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft on Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, making Darnold expendable after Adam Gase nearly destroyed his career. League sources told Sportsnet New York Ralph Vaxiano, is how you say his last name? I'm so bad at names. Quote, that the Eagles trading Carson Wentz to the Colts for a third rounder and a conditional second rounder wouldn't change the Jets' asking price for Darnold. Vaxiano reports the Jets' asking price for their quarterback has long been projected to be a second round pick, plus maybe another mid to late rounder. Again, I mentioned this, just throwing the idea up in the air. What about Darnold and Jimmy G together? Because the idea right now is that if you trade for a quarterback, then you're going to go ahead and either trade Garoppolo or cut him. We talked about that earlier with Deshaun Watson. If that's Deshaun Watson, then yes, you do need to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo because we all know that, of course, Garoppolo is not as good as Deshaun Watson. No brainer. However, we don't know if Garoppolo is going to be worse than Sam Darnold or better than Sam Darnold. Honestly, what is Sam Darnold? He's a young player who was taken high in the draft, who has a lot of skills, but has no production on the field. Is it because of the team? Is it because of the organization he was with and the head coach, Adam Gase? Or is he just not a good quarterback? We don't really know. And to risk everything on trading for him and then getting rid of Garoppolo, to me, would be a little bit unwise, even though I'm hesitant because I'm against having quarterback battles because it just creates too much controversy. I think the idea of an open competition in camp and then playing the best player would make sense. The problem here, of course, is that you would have to potentially bench Jimmy Garoppolo and then still pay him $25.5 million to be on the bench. So the idea of it being an actual quarterback battle is unlikely, but the idea is something I want to just float around here because maybe you just roll Darnold in there as a backup this year and let him learn the Shanahan system and then, of course, get rid of Garoppolo after next season and then insert your future quarterback as the starter, and that, of course, would be Sam Darnold. Again, he's not awful. I don't think he's terrible. I think you can make a lot of blame on Adam Gase and the Jets organization, but still, when the interceptions and touchdowns are nearly the same and the completion percentage is under 60%, it does make you kind of just scratch your head a little bit and say, maybe don't just trade for him straight up and then get rid of Garoppolo and put all your eggs in the Sam Darnold basket. Maybe have a backup plan just in case Sam Darnold is in fact no longer, or never really was, potentially a starting quarterback in this league. Let you guys pick though. What do you guys think? It's a crazy idea? You pick a quarterback here. Jimmy Garoppolo or Sam Darnold. Type JG for Jimmy Garoppolo. Type SD for Sam Darnold in the comment section down below. There you go. Wanted to get to all the latest 49ers news and rumors here on a Monday. Plenty more videos in the coming days and weeks, as we always do here for the 49ers Report. I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day.